Today we have the one and only Mia Thornton.
Hey, girl.
Yes. Who actually is being pinned as the villain right now.
Girl, who would have ever known? I'm going to tell my story before somebody else does. I think people thought that we were like out here being swingers, but that's really not the case. Like we were doing that, sure, but before we got married.
Okay, so we have a lot to unpack, Beyonce. Do you feel like Jacqueline stuck up for you how you wanted her to?
And I'm going to say this, and this is going to be an exclusive for you. I think it's important that when you decide to do reality TV that you keep it real. And I don't want to change that.
Welcome back, guys, to the Only Mom Podcast.
Yes.
Today we have the one and only Mia Thornton.
Hey, girl.
Yes. Who actually is being pinned as the villain right now.
Girl, who would have ever known?
I mean, is this your first podcast interview since the reunion?
It is the first podcast since the reunion. Yes.
I'm honored.
You get the exclusive.
We get the exclusive. The tea you'll only get here.
Of course, I would save it for you.
Well, of course, I'm going to get you
Babe
drunk.
Macy.
So
yeah,
that'll help.
Lots of wine.
Y'all didn't have enough wine on the reunion.
Since I'm such a terrible mother, let me drink more wine, mom juice.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it. Okay, so we have a lot to unpack, Beyonce.
Okay, Solange. No, just kidding.
Okay, we have a lot to unpack,
Acquisition.
Beyonce. Well, don't get started on the acquisitions now. They're nosy.
Okay, yes, clearly.
What was it?
Accusation?
Yeah. What was the
From
thing?
the season?
From the season.
Okay. I'm going to say like the most silliest accusation from the season would definitely be that, oh gosh, Karen is vindicated, or she was going to be vindicated because honey child, like, I'm going to say that was like, am I missing something here?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, people don't obviously get arrested and charged with several citations unless there has been some type of evidence that has been proven. So
Right.
I feel like, we went through the entire season and I was the only one that actually was keeping it real and just saying like, hey, Now, for me personally, I would say that the most silliest one was that I live in Atlanta.
That one was silly. I had written down the love triangle.
Okay. Well, that's not so silly.
You don't. I feel like you were. Not that you wouldn't do a love triangle, but I feel you've outgrown it, or
Yes.
you had outgrown the existing marriage enough that you didn't want to like include.
Oh,
Is kind of how I felt as a friend.
Yeah.
Like I was like, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't even in that space anymore.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
Over.
I would say that the most common misconception is that Gordon and I actually did not welcome people into our bedroom after we got married. Like that was when we first met, we're running around town, everything is fun. But then after we got married, like we honestly, like I was like, no, I'm a wife now.
Right.
So
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that that wasn't clear in the beginning. I think people thought that we were like out here being swingers, but that's really not the case. Like we were doing that, sure, but before we got married.
Right.
No judgment. Like do what you want to do.
Of
But
course.
it was just like not
you
something
just
that we
had
were
a boundary that
Yeah.
once we moved into this phase of our
Yeah.
lives, we're done.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Now, you brought up Karen earlier, and I feel like that is on my topic of things to discuss. Obviously, as the co-founder of a wine brand,
Yeah.
we never promote drinking and driving, and
Correct.
you felt like you were the only one holding her to the fire. What do you think accountability looks like from the other girls, or should look like?
I just think that, when you consider yourself to be a part of a friend group, that being a real friend really tells you like what or how we should behave. You know what I mean?
Or when
Like,
you have a problem and you need to fix
yeah,
it.
1000%. Yeah, and let me help you, girl.
Yeah.
Right? How can I support you?
Right.
That's one of the things that I love about you, Macy. You're always like, how can I support? How can I help? Are you okay over there? What do you need from me?
Haven't talked in 6
How many
months, but
banks
what
do
can
I
I
need to
do?
rob to fix this shit? Okay.
That actually sounds like a statement that may have come from me.
Probably. Yeah. So, I just feel like, and that's what good girlfriends do, you know?
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think that it's interesting because, everyone is pinning you as the villain, the liar, the bad mom, and they're not remembering that you're going through some of the hardest times of your life on television.
Yeah.
Where it's like you're kind of just living in the moment and ebbing and flowing. And yeah, maybe that didn't make sense at the time, but it wasn't this like thought out lie.
Right.
Right? Do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I think that obviously people may think that it's a lie or it was a deliberate false accusation or a false truth. But in reality, when you're going through a divorce, things change day by day. And because I'm like living it out real time, this is not something you guys, like a lot of times with reality TV, we kind of relive what we've already experienced sometimes just so we can take people through the process. But for me, this season, it was actually happening real time and it was scary. And every day was a different story and every day was, things were changing. And, Gordon and I may decide to say, hey, we're going to do things this way. But the very next day, it's like, hey, no, that's really not such a great idea, which is what happens in real life, right? The only difference is that it's not being recorded. So there's no one to like hold you to the fire to say, oh, you guys are going to do things this way. You lied, you lied, you lied, you lied, you lied. No, I didn't lie. It's just like it changed. Like the plan changed. Yeah. And I have every right for that to happen. Right. You know what I mean? Like it's my life. It's my family. We can course correct and redirect as needed and like how we so fit. And I have no regrets. Being normal. Yeah. It's called being a mom.
Right.
Okay.
No, I agree. We jumped so quickly into this episode. I didn't even do a bio on you. So for the people that do not know Mia, she has,
everybody knows me.
I mean, obviously she's a celebrity.
Just kidding.
But she has 3 children. And you went through a lot of backlash this season about, the topics that surrounding your son and all of that, but also too, with your relationship.
Yeah.
I saw that you were just with Ink over the week this week.
Yeah, we went to a game in Atlanta.
Okay.
And there were a lot of people who were excited to see us together. So I figured I'm going to tell my story before somebody else does.
Yeah.
Because there were photos and videos and it's what happens when you go out in public, being a public figure. And, there's no hiding. And Ink and I are friends. We are close friends. We do not have a title. So there's no lie.
Yeah. If you were not to get back together with Ink and start a whole new relationship, do you think that you would keep it as public as you did with this one? I know you've been married for 11 years. So this is all fresh.
Yeah.
Dating. Yeah. And before when you were dating, it wasn't so public.
No.
Do you have any? Would you do it differently?
That's I have reservations, yes, on sharing someone new, especially if it's so new and I don't even know if they're going to stick, They might be out the door by the time I announce it. They might leave the next day. So, but I do think that I think it's important that when you decide to do reality TV that you keep it real. And I don't want to change that, right? I just think that I need to navigate and understand and like move on into that next chapter of getting a divorce and then being able to date out loud and it be okay. I think the only reason why it's like shunned upon is because I'm still legally married.
Got it.
Yeah.
Let's dive in there because so many people were, a topic of conversation, how long your divorce is taking. And of course, I know the entanglement of all the things that you guys had going on as a couple, but Like, help everyone understand what takes so damn long.
If there's nothing that you want leaving a marriage, then obviously it's quick.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, all
Mhm.
right, cool. We're done here. We're no longer cohabitating. We have no financial ties. There's no assets. There's nothing to divulge. There's nothing to split. There's no, that's not the case for us. We
Mhm.
have businesses together. There's assets that we have to unfold. There's bank accounts that we have to like divide. There's pending sales that are
Mhm.
still being pended that it's like, okay, well, can I legally divorce right now? Without having any type of like tax implications afterwards. There's just so much to unpack outside of just saying, hey, we have
Mhm.
these children together. You take them on Monday through Sunday, and I'll take them
Right.
Thursday through Friday. It's not that simple
Mhm.
when Gordon and I are business partners.
Yes.
So it takes a while to unravel all of the details. And trust me, you do not want to rush into that.
No.
Because you just want to make sure that in business, just like, getting into business, you want to make sure who you get into business with is someone that you like trust. It's the same when you're exiting. It has to be a lot of trust that's there and making sure that we're divulging assets appropriately.
Well, and if any
and what's
assets
best
are
for the
going to
children.
continue existing together.
Yeah. Are there any outstanding debts?
Yes.
Is there anything that I don't know about? Right. So that takes
Yeah.
time to like really dive deep into as you're like untangling a web. And then it's not like we had one business. Like we're across several different markets. We have several different partnerships. There's other people that are involved. It's just nothing that you want to rush and just say, I'm done emotionally. Like I'm doing this very articulately and making sure that, and leveraging professionals.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand how franchising works, and each individual unit has its own LLC. Then you have parent companies. Then you have different states with different investors in each LLC. It is a lot to unravel, and I often think about that in my own household. Like, holy cow, the amount of time it would take to unravel these things, and then some things are still existing. So you have to. I don't want to say play nice, but you have to learn how to get along in those moments because we may have things that we still have to manage together later.
1,000%.
Yeah.
You can't divulge an asset without a signature. So and then obviously if you know that you can't get a divorce, then you hold the signatures. Not just speaking on experience.
Just something that I went through once.
Yeah.
We're drinking the Mom Juice Sauvignon Blanc. Let's do a little cheers.
Good.
And then
Cheers.
I want you to give everyone your honest opinion on the wine.
I think it's working because I can't even get my words together. No. So, I am not a white wine connoisseur. I love my reds, but this is really good.
It's so funny you say that because whenever I bring Mom Juice around, you always ask for our white.
I do because it's so good. Did I just say that? It's so good. It's like fresh. It's light. It's, I don't know. It just has like this, it just goes down so easy. It's almost like drinking apple juice. So be careful, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. This one we call the porch pounder.
Yeah.
Because it will.
You just
and
keep
then you're
going,
done.
And then all of a sudden you hit you. And you're like, oh.
Here we are.
That's why we need bottles on bottles of this.
You walked out of the reunion.
I did.
Do you have anything to say? Do you want to clear the air?
I'm just going to say that my feet were hurting and I was tired. It was time to go. Okay. Had enough.
It was too much.
It was too much. And I'm going to tell you just how I did share this on a radio segment I just recently did, is that a lot of times people don't realize that we're filming these reunions for like sometimes 12, 14-hour days. And I think we were on like hour 10.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was a lot more like what the viewers see. Obviously, take that and multiply it times 10. Okay. I think anybody in their right mind, anybody who is sane would get up and leave.
Yeah.
Like enough is enough. Because it's either that or it's going to be security. We're going to need more. Okay.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, I'm no longer in that space. I'm in a different season of my life. And I was fasting.
Oh.
I was on a spiritual fast. So I was hungry. No alcohol. 10 hours dealing with these girls. It was time to go. Okay.
Yeah.
Exit left. kiss my ass, watch it as we go out the door, and I'm just done.
Also, 10 hours in a gown is really like 15 hours
Girl.
because the posture that you have to hold in a dress is different.
You know,
It's a
and the
different
corset
world.
was corseting, and
Right.
I couldn't breathe. So I couldn't breathe. I couldn't eat. I couldn't drink, and I had to deal with this.
Yeah,
Too
enough.
much. Okay.
Do you feel like Jacqueline stuck up for you how you wanted her to?
So here's the thing. Jacqueline is pregnant. Okay.
Yes.
And Jacqueline has a lot going on in Jacqueline's world. And to be a good friend to her, I am A-okay that she did not come after me, because if she would have started coming after me, then now I have to take care of her.
Yeah.
And I really just needed to leave.
Yeah. And no, that
Yeah.
is, she's not just a little bit pregnant. She's
She's
a lot
of bit pregnant.
She's wearing heels.
Yeah.
You're dashing.
Yes.
You know,
she
that
can't dash after me pregnant, honey.
That's a liability.
Okay. Yes. it
Okay.
is. Stay seated for the
Yeah.
sake of the baby.
Right.
I'm actually glad that she didn't, because I think it could have turned into something a little bit more than what I really wanted it to be. I really just wanted to get up out of there. You know, I think that it's insane to stay in spaces that are no longer serving me for that moment.
Right.
And I felt like there's power in that, and I have no regrets.
A lot of people on the internet think you're like, that was it for Mia. She'll never do the show again.
Yeah.
Do you have any words?
So if you would have asked me that day, my answer would have been like, you're fucking right.
It's over,
Enough
guys.
of this.
Right.
How many more years of this am I going to do? No. But obviously the next day I woke up, it's a new day. And I said, you know, I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to get back to business. I'm going to get back to like being and doing what fuels me, which is exactly what I did that very next day. I dove right back into like work and building out things that I'm passionate about, things that I had put on the back burner, you know, from film season and from just navigating life. And I had to fill my cup back up. And once my cup got full back up, I was like, okay, now I think I can cuss somebody out. Right? You know, so I'm like, all right, maybe I can do this. Yeah. All right, cool. We're back in the mix. I'm getting a little bored here.
Yeah.
You know, like it's boring over here. Let me go get some excitement. So to answer your question, would I return? Yes, I would. Do I want the world to come through a spiritual journey with me that I'm currently on right now? Absolutely. I want everybody to get this good old salt cave action, and whatever, mom juice on deck.
Listen,
okay,
I'll feel it.
Yes,
I will
wine
fill the
on
wine
deck,
cart.
and I just feel like it's important for people to see how you withstand adversity. You know, because you know I was at a very low moment.
Yeah.
And I think that's normal for everybody on earth. I'm going to say everybody, okay, if it's not, you're lying. And you have low moments, but you also have like opportunities to like really rebound. And I'm in a rebound season. And I'm also in a gift season. So good luck.
But Mia, you always rebound.
I do.
You do.
Yeah.
You always like that is one thing that I'll check on you in the moment to see if you need anything. But I know as far as longevity is concerned, you are going to figure it out.
1000%.
How is it you mentioned filling up your own cup? What is it that fills Mia's cup?
Ooh, girl. So one of the things that I had did away with that I have now gotten back to is getting up earlier and spending time with myself and really meditating. I'm back journaling. I'm back enjoying my cup of coffee by myself without little rugrats running around asking me for some breakfast, like pancakes, because my kids don't eat cereal. They want pancakes, bacon, and eggs. We need a full-time chef. You know? So I'm like, okay. And like really just taking that time to like recenter and really set the intentions for my day and to, you know, get my to-do list clocked off before the rest of the world wakes up to fill my inbox. And that has helped tremendously. You know, that has been like my staple that I feel has really bridged and moved me into productivity. Because then when everybody else is working, I can bug shit out of y'all.
Right.
like, hey, so what are you doing? And I go, we're working. Oh, okay, well, I'm done for the day.
Yep.
So, and it's like and then I can also be present with the children,
Mm-hmm.
because the children have their extracurricular activities and they have me every which way because I am their taxi, their driver.
Right.
And, that also helps fill my cup because I can be present with my children. I don't have to say I got to miss out on this practice.
Yeah.
I got to miss this cheer practice or I got to miss this basketball practice because I now have the capacity to be there.
It does feel so good if you can learn how to manage your schedule and be okay if it's not the same every day.
Yeah.
But manage it in a way that you can be 100% mom and 100% bad bitch.
Yep.
Like I don't want to do both at the same time because then no one's getting 100% of me.
1,000%.
And in those days where I find myself mixing and mingling are the days that I feel the most chaotic. I feel the most anxious and I can't sleep.
Yep.
Overwhelmed. I love that
wild and crazy, kind of stressed, you know? Yeah. So it's kind of like being 100% on what you're speaking on. It's being in the moment, the present of now, right? So like right now I'm sitting with you. I'm giving you everything that I have.
Right.
My phone is off. I'm not thinking about anything else that I need to be doing because I'm here with you right now. It's the same way with the kids. It's the same thing like in the mornings when I'm spending time with me. I'm very present with me. I also have like indulged into like going to the spa.
Okay.
Yeah, normally I hadn't been doing a lot of that because I feel like it's a waste of time and my mind starts going and I want to call people and they don't let you make phone calls in the spa.
Right.
So like this is not really working for me. But I actually have been making time for that every 2 weeks.
Yep. Glenn forces me to spa.
Yeah.
And it sounds so fucking ridiculous to say he forces it, but he is very adamant about why don't you go spend a day at the Ritz?
Yeah.
Why don't you go do this?
It forces you to clock out and you need that.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
And
I
the
love
sound
that.
of the water and
just
all of that.
Time with self.
Mm-hmm.
So, only moms, we talk about parenting. I feel like there's a lot of lessons that we can learn from you. First being, right, I've asked you this before. How are the kids in front of the camera?
So first of all, my kids love the camera. Okay. Juliana is the star.
Yes.
Juliana makes it very known when we walk into rooms that we're from Housewives.
Oh!
We're housewives. Yes. You want photos? I'll take photos. Juliana is the star. Yes. Like she loves the attention.
But she's always had main character energy.
Oh,
so I need everyone to know that
Yeah.
this was not her coming into herself because of the show.
No.
The show is just part of what she was already doing.
Oh, she's like, finally, you guys are talking to the party.
Right. My
Like, I've
mom
been
was
here.
not taking enough photos of me.
Yeah.
I really needed the crew.
No,
Yeah.
seriously. No, it's funny because Joshua actually said this to us. He did a little recording, a podcast episode or a show with Inc. last year. And he asked him, how do you feel about your mom being famous? And he was like, my mom has always been famous. I just think that she's now famous on TV. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, he's like, she's always been well known in her city. And now she's just international,
Yes.
And so he said that it's nothing new. It's just magnified. And so he's kind of used to it, which I thought was really profound coming from a 16-year-old.
That is so interesting because, we find ourselves in similar rooms where we're really good at whatever we're in that room doing, right? And it's so true because we've also involved our kids from the very beginning, bringing them to the conferences, bringing them to open up the units. Like I'm taking them on bringing your kid to work day, solo trips on airplanes, and they are used to that.
Yeah, it's the norm.
Yeah, and so it may not be at the scale it is now, but he is so used to it. When you walk into those conferences for the joint chiropractic, everyone is so excited because you're here.
Yeah.
Killing it.
Yes.
You know?
And then also too, because they also have been able to see the killing it before, right? So I think it's a different level of respect. It's not so like, oh, okay, she's only able to accomplish or be where she is because of the show. It's like, no, she actually was, she was doing these things before you guys got here. Now we're just excited because she's talking about it.
Yeah.
And bringing more awareness around the brand. I think there is power in the numbers when you are levered, to me, and I'll be honest with you, and I don't know if I've ever spoken on this, but the show really, when I first agreed to do it, was I agreed specifically because I thought it was an investment for a marketing engine. I'm like, I
Yeah.
got a marketing spend to spend anyway.
I remember.
Why
and then
not spend it on some clothes
And then I
and makeup and hair?
remember you filming the first season,
Yeah.
and you're like, this is so demanding.
Yeah.
This
Do you
is
remember?
Yes.
I
Because
was
we
like,
had-
not sure about it.
A lot of people don't understand our history is that we have opened a clinic together. I joined Mia's team underneath her on some different marketing things. I felt like it was really helpful for me to get my foot in the door in learning franchising to make bigger investments.
Yes.
And so during that time, I would say within 6 months to a year, you let me know that you were going to start filming, and our calls got.
And I was like, "You got this, girl, right?"
Like, she's like, "You're ready to do this."
Okay, good.
But no, you quickly realized that this is its own separate job.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was just going to be like a 16 week out of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to have fun. And I was going to like meet up with these girls and like kiki and have a good time and then be able to go home. And they were going to follow me to work and they were going to follow me to carpool and they were going to follow me to dinner with my husband. No. It is a full-time job.
Yeah.
And they do not follow me. They tell me where to go.
Do you?
It's a major difference.
Right.
Okay. You're disrupting my schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it was hard for you to connect with the other cast members at first because you are such, back to what Josh was saying about he's been watching you hustle his whole life and you are a hustler. I know that sometimes it's hard for me to connect with just the housewives in my neighborhood because that commonality, right? Like not that like I enjoy them and I trust them and I like their kids and I like that they're so close, but we don't have a lot in common.
No.
Because I'm doing different things.
You're working.
Yeah, I'm working.
And no slight against them,
No,
because running a
absolutely
household
not.
is a job, but you definitely are a powerhouse. And you're moving and shaking, and you don't have time to have like morning tea and crumpets and
tennis.
Meet up with like Johnny and Sally for tennis. Like it's a lot.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay.
I've never made any of the tennis invites.
I
Not
didn't
one.
either.
Not one.
Or golf.
Unless the show told you had to be there. Was that pickleball? So
But did you see? I played the crap out of pickleball. I was excited about something competitive. Okay, I do not win. Okay, I lose. I should say I do not lose.
But you will give it your all. But did you find that was hard to connect?
1,000%, Macy. Oh my gosh! Like I would say like week 3 into it, I was like, I don't know. This is not gonna work. Like, do we have real jobs over here? Because. And no slight against them. Like, there definitely are. They're powerhouse women. They're very multifaceted. Everybody is successful in their own light. But to be honest with you, Macy, I just felt like it was hard for me to really identify with, like, building a brand and building out brick and mortars and storefronts and construction. Like, that's a whole nother level of like hustle outside of e-com. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not as sexy.
It's not clicking a button. It's like you actually got to get in there and it's real dusty.
It's
and dirty.
And the city doesn't care if you're a celebrity. They do not push those permits, baby.
They sure don't. They said you have to get in line with the rest of them, okay?
Right.
And money does not talk in the permit world. I'm like, can I pay a little extra? No. So I just feel like, it's hard to understand or it's hard to relate to women unless they're walking the same walk. We can all talk the talk.
We can all respect each other.
We can respect each other
for what each other are doing.
But it's really hard for us. Like, I get you, Macy. I feel like I've gotten you from day one. I feel like we've never had any like hiccups because I'm like, no, if you didn't call me back, girls, because you're busy. Okay. If you didn't show up to the party, honey, it's because you were busy. If you call me and I don't answer, you don't get mad at me, right? Because like that's just like what we as women, like when you're moving and shaking and you're navigating a lot, like we get each other, and I feel like we've been really blessed and fortunate to have a group of women that get that, because if we didn't, honey, I would just be an old lady with 18 cats and they will answer to me when I call.
Yeah, not the cats. You don't even have one cat.
I don't. I hate cats.
Like, you're wild.
But I would if I didn't have any friends.
That is the alternative.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck the spa.
Yeah.
Right?
Kitty cat fights or real cats? I'll take the real cats for 100, Jack. Okay.
Meow. Okay, back to the kids. I know that everyone was firing at you because of future conversations that you may have to have with Jeremiah someday. And I don't know if you've even thought about what that conversation looks like.
Yeah, I have actually, because, we're raising our children to be real, authentic human beings. And we do not try to shelter them from what's real in their lives. And I say that because we do shelter them from a lot of the things outside because it's crazy outside, right?
Yes.
And I think it's going to be, and this is how I foresee it, I want it to be a conversation like a family dynamic where everyone is present, including my oldest child, who is on social media and who is watching everything unfold.
I was getting into him next.
Yes. And who is also our number one supporter and the number one, he's so beautiful and bright. And he's like, Mom, they don't even know you. And don't forget who you are.
Welcome to season 2 of Only Moms. And I can't kick things off without giving a little treat to all of my favorites. So if you're new here, I founded a winery, co-founded actually with my business partner, Kristen Taylor, called Mom Juice. And we're all about keeping the bullshit out of wine. So not only do we slap our ingredients on the back of the label, but we are also gluten-free, vegetarian. Yeah, not all wine is vegetarian, okay? You might just be drinking fish bladder, and that's fucking gross. Regardless, we're giving you 20% off today. So all you have to do is go to momjuicewine.com and at the end of your order, put in Only Moms as your discount code and treat yourself, girl.
I'm like, you're the child.
He's so grown.
Yeah. He's like, Mom, you're amazing. And that's all I know, and that's what keeps me grounded to where I'm like, okay, well, I don't care what anybody else says.
Yeah.
I care what you think, kid, So, and I just think I need it to be in a professional setting because I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to pretend to be, and I'm not going to pretend to have the right answers to navigate it. So, I have had conversations with Gordon around when we should have that. And I think that maybe once he turns 10, which is in a year, he'll be mature enough to really handle it. He is now in a social element where before he's been home with us.
Yeah.
Now he's out because he's doing the things with his extracurricular activities and he has friends now, girl, and a little girl.
Oh.
So, and kids are watching TV and they are on social media and their parents are talking.
They see their parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. And their parents may not, that's the thing too, is it's not even personal sometimes, but it is. It gives them something to gossip about. It almost brings them back to high school. Who knows what they're saying in their living room? And then they show up to soccer practice and they're like, holy shit, Mia Thornton's son is on little so-and-so's team.
Yeah.
And so even though the shit talking could be innocent and never meant to leave the walls.
Yeah. It happens.
It will happen.
Yeah. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's not. And you're right. It's funny. You go to orientation for practices and everybody's like, hi, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And then the next time you get there, they're like, I just want you to know, I really like you on the show.
Right.
And I'm like, why didn't you say that when we first met? I just want you to know. I don't want it to be weird, but, we love Juju. I'm like, okay, why didn't you just tell me when we first met? Now it's weird.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
So yeah, they are, they know and people are following and people are watching. And I don't know if there's anybody who's not watching at this point because, honey, I'm like, I feel like I can't go anywhere.
Yeah. I've walked down the streets of New Orleans with you and that was kind of scary. I was a little nervous.
Why were you scared?
Because they were touching you. And I'm small. I'll fight, but
I'm big,
I'm
so I
small.
can handle it.
You're not that big.
I'm pretty big,
Okay, bigger than me.
Yeah.
We had on heels.
They were touching me.
They were grabbing on your arms.
I know. It's a little abrasive sometimes, Macy. It is, and it becomes a lot on a day-to-day basis. So, but you get used to it like anything, right?
Right.
Okay.
Have you had to have any of those tough conversations with Joshua?
So, Josh and I have, okay, Josh is from my previous marriage, and I had him at a younger age. I was in my early 20s. I feel like Josh and I, like, we grew up together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's like my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
So our conversations are very candid,
Mm-hmm.
and he has gotten to a point where we don't talk about the show.
Mm-hmm.
He wants nothing to do with the show, if you can't say you haven't seen him. He goes, Ma, I just can't do fake friends. You didn't teach me that. I don't want to become friends with anybody's kids, and then you guys fall out, and then we can't be friends.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that.
He doesn't have time. He doesn't want the energy exchange. I get it.
And I was like, who raised you?
Yeah.
Maybe I should take my own advice.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Do the kids watch the show at all?
No.
Mm-mm. What's good when they?
I used to let them watch their scenes.
Okay.
But this year that couldn't happen.
Right. Okay.
And that's why they don't watch.
Have they asked?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Then that's great.
Yeah, and that's so wild too, because I was concerned about a lot of it because every other, season I have allowed them to see themselves and they get excited and they know it's airing because the whole world reminds them, oh my gosh, I watched you on Sunday. I'm tuning in. But they haven't asked, and they don't seem bothered. They're doing well in school. They're thriving, they're happy. And then if they start showing signs of anything other, then there's a problem. But, there's no problem. I'm really blessed and fortunate. Yeah. God has me covered when it comes to that. Like my children, amazing.
I love that for you.
I hope it stays that way, especially with Juju, because
Well, the girls they get a year of forgiveness when they turn either preteen or teen, where they're just batshit crazy.
Yes.
And
but they come out of it, right?
Yeah, they come out of it. They do. You feel like you can't recognize your child for 8 months to a year because they're just raging. Their hormones are doing crazy things. They don't even recognize themselves.
Sure.
And then they bring themselves back.
Yeah.
And you
have
all
the pressures from school.
Constant pressures.
And, testing.
Boys, testing. Sports, right? You name it. It's all there. They're dealing with a different type of social pressure that we had never dealt with because of social media.
Yeah.
Right? We would only compare ourselves when we'd be in the checkout line at the grocery store to the girls on the cover of the magazine.
Right.
And now you're compared to every photoshopped, perfect, everyone's a makeup artist type bitch on the internet.
Everyone's an influencer.
And it is hard to keep up as an adult.
Yeah.
So they're going through different things than we went through. And so you have to kind of just coach them through it. But I do want to talk one more parenting topic because although people were so negative about it, your co-parenting, round of applause, Mia. Cheers to you co-parenting because I do truly think that you had figured out the right ingredient of communication with the exes, getting everyone to kumbaya together. Do you have give us any advice there? How do you get to that?
Thank you, babe. So, and this is really important because, and I'm going to say this, and this is going to be an exclusive for you. I would have never in a million years agreed to have Gordon and Ink in the same room, better yet with cameras around, if they weren't getting along. They had been getting along for almost a year. We had traveled together. We did holidays together. We did birthdays together. Gordon has actually slept over Ink's house, so it's like, what am I missing here? And what is this energy? So, and I really do wish that, and what I wanted was for the world to see exactly what you were just discussing, that it's okay for families to get along post-divorce. It's not easy. It does take a lot of emotional intelligence. It takes a lot of selfless acts. It's not about us.
Right.
It's about the children. And one of the things that I do that I love the most about my relationship with my ex-husband is that he never, I don't even know what it's like to have anything other than positive co-parenting for our son Joshua. And I will say that Joshua is such an amazing young man because all he knows is love.
Yeah.
You know, he's had his mom and he's had his dad, and his dad has gotten re-engaged, and, you know, he has his daddy G, and everybody has come together to love on this child. And that's really what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's all about showing up for the children, loving on the kids, and being present and acting accordingly when the kids are present. Right?
Yes.
We have done that. I have done that for 17 years. So why would it be different now? Right?
I think one thing too that people don't remind themselves in all of this, because it's usually so messy and it just feels negative. It feels chaotic. It feels like there's so many emotions that you're managing. You have to figure out how to bottle those up. And like you said, it's selfless acts. But Joshua is a perfect example of such a great human being that has adapted to co-parenting, that has adapted to you having more children with someone that's not his father, that has adapted to getting on an airplane to come and see you every week. Right? Something we had talked about.
Traveling.
I mean, these
independence, being a good big brother.
Yes. Yeah. These kids will adapt if we set the stage properly
1000%.
And they feel safe and they feel supported, and they can trust everyone.
Yeah. They're actually, you know, we're developing resiliency. And because things aren't going to be cookie cutter.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be, excuse my language, again, a shit show.
Right.
It actually can be a productive, cohesive, positive, nurturing environment. And it should be.
Yeah.
You know, we should all be able to come to the table for the collective good for the children at all costs.
I agree. Well, thank you for those tips.
Okay, you do that very well. Yes. Not me finding out where I was in Super Bowl. I'm like, okay, so these are what was it?
My father-in-law.
Your father-in-law. I was like, looks just like Glenn. And you're like, wait, no, that's Glenn's ex-wife's father. And I was like, okay, that changes the whole dynamic. So this is the ex-wife's dad's house that we're staying in. Loved it.
Yeah. Oh no, it's great.
I loved it even more.
Yes, but I think
I took my shoes off and stayed a while.
They welcomed us with open arms. This beautiful Victorian home, right? Like, no, and I think that to create relationships that good with all of the in-laws on all sides is when you truly come from a place of love.
See?
And if that's where you're coming from, and your only reason for you know, I'm not going to tell my stepchildren that their grandparents or that their aunt can't come over to our home to the barbecue, right? Just because I feel a little uncomfortable. Well, get comfortable.
Get comfortable.
Right?
Yes.
And if you come from a place of love for the children, then they should not have a problem with interacting with you either.
No.
And then you start to build a relationship where you actually give a shit about each other, and let's just make it a good time.
Yeah. And another thing that I loved is that when they were taking us to the airport, you were inviting them to Lyle's birthday.
Yes.
And I was like, well, yes, of course they will come to Lyle's birthday because that's their sibling sister.
Yeah.
And I just was like, yes, we need more of this, Macy. And honestly, that's how like I have worked so hard when it comes to Joshua. I want that for the littles as well. Gordon and I don't have to remain married to continue to have a positive, cohesive co-parenting relationship.
Exactly.
But I do want Gordon to get with the program because I don't want him missing birthdays. I don't want him missing holidays, family vacation, summer vacation.
Yes.
I want him to be in the mix.
Yes.
But I want him to be in the mix and to be a positive asset to the collective whole.
Because otherwise you have to create a boundary.
Or otherwise he's not invited to the party. Yes, we're going to be honest.
Which is hurtful for all of us. Because just because you're divorcing him doesn't mean that you don't still, you loved that person for so long. And he's the father of your children.
Yes.
I would be sad even if I weren't with my husband, if my daughter woke up and she didn't see her dad.
Yeah.
Right? And so to imagine him then not being allowed to show up to the birthday party because he can't keep his shit together, that's only hurting them.
1000%. It's not even about me.
Yeah.
You know?
What's next for Mia?
Ooh, girl. So much.
Oh, tell us.
Other than drinking a lot of mom juice, I am working on a project that I'm launching spring, summer, hopefully. Messy Mia.
Oh,
yes.
lean in,
Messy
girl.
Mia. Yes.
in.
So I am working on a luxury home organization line, Messy Mia.
Ooh.
And I think we're going to start, just smaller, and we're going to scale it,
Yes.
going out to all the major markets. I think that it's important for me to start branching off and doing something on my own, and that's not a franchise.
Mhm.
It is very scary territory. I did originally try to, or even consider partnering with a franchise in the organization, rim.
Mhm.
But no, God said go bigger. You got this, girl.
I was
You've
gonna
been building
say.
franchise concepts for almost 14 years
Mhm.
now. It's time. I think I have the
Yeah.
blueprint.
You have the blueprint, and I will say it sometimes you were creating it for them and making their blueprint better, and
Yeah.
then there would still be red tape that wouldn't allow you to fully soar. And so
1000%.
I think that, if you were to attach yourself to a franchise, you should use that as a secondary plan B.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you need to go full force as plan A.
Okay. Yes, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
expect you to say anything less, Macy.
I like to run
Macy's
right
all
into the fire.
how many cities are we putting this thing in? Okay.
When
Great.
you said summer? Okay.
All right, girl, we got time.
Tell everyone where they can find you, Mia.
Yes, you can find me at Mrs. Mia Thornton on Instagram or www.mrsmiathornton.com.
It was a pleasure having you, my friend.
It's so much fun.
Cheers.
Yes, I kept it very PG for us.
You did. You did a good job.
Now, can we do like a uncensored after dark?
Let's do it.
Okay. Or the closet with the Post-its.
Oh.
Wouldn't the world love to see that?
Yes.
Crazy, messy Mia and the bottom of the closet with all these Post-its, 3 o'clock in the morning, phoning a friend for help, a.k.a. Macy.
It sounds like a campaign.
Yeah, it does.
It sounds like we need to build a campaign.
Let's do it. This has been so good. Thank you, babe.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here.
Yes, of course.
Bye.
Bye.